this spell card, I'm allowed to summon a machine-type fusion monster, and with another Cyber Dragon in my hand as well, I can now fuse 3 of them together and create the Cyber End Dragon.
Hey everyone, Sev here. Today I'm here to go over my Cyber Dragon deck profile. This is a really fun deck. It's a deck that I've played. This is like one of the first ever archetype decks I ever built and took and played in a tournament. And I basically, at the time, I just used Team APS's build for Cyber Dragons, or specifically, I should say Paul's build, because it seemed like the best, and like I didn't really take from any other sources. So yeah, let's get right into the deck profile, starting with the main deck. I've broken this deck down into each accompanying portions. So the first portion will be the Cyber, like the actual Sidra portion. So 3 core, 3 Hertz, 3 OG Sidra, all of which are in secret. Sadly, this one's the Speed Tool secret, and sadly, these 2 are the alt arts, and this is the original. So that kind of like annoys me. And then 1 Naxter. So a quick breakdown my ratios and my rationale for these ratios. So 3 core, obviously because it can get any Sidra or Cyber spell from your deck to your hand, including Cyber Dark spells. So if you're playing Cyber Darks, play the 3 of this card too. Very essential. Hertz is essential for a lot of combos because A, its name becomes Cyber Dragon and the field in the graveyard, very important. And B, can search out Cyber Dragons or add them back from the graveyard, so it adds recursion for core and can add Cyber Dragon for potential fusion plays. Cyber Dragon, because it's Cyber Dragons, and Naxter, because it comes up in a few scenarios where you just discard a monster, summon it, and you can summon back a Cyber Dragon, but it does lock you into machine monsters, so Naxter is only a one-off. And then with the Cyber, I guess more Cyber Dragon focused spells, we're playing 3 Emergency. Basically Rhoda, it's Rhoda for every single Cyber Dragon in the deck. So 1 Repair Plant, you only use this for adding light machine monsters. You don't shuffle back. Does it just shuffle? Yeah, it just shuffles, it doesn't even draw. So yeah, you only use the first effect. Then 1 Overflow in case you need to either go first, or you can't you can't kill your opponent, so you just add an Overflow to try and last them out. Next we're playing the Chimera package, so 1 Cyber Dark Chimera and 3 Cyber Dark Realm. Realm can add Chimera and allows you to normal summon Chimera. Chimera allows you to add Power Bond and fuse it through graveyard. Basically, it just makes OTKs so much more easier. Plus, it allows you to use Power Bond too. 2 copies of Galaxy Soldier. Basically, this plus Hertz is just it's a free Nova into an Infinity. 1 Jizukiru for just one-on-one spot removal. Then 3 Machine Duplication. This plus Core, full combo. And then 3 copies of Clockwork Knight. Sadly, there's no other card that really does what Clockwork Knight does as effectively as it does. It basically turns on Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon and turns it into an absolute terror, as you can fuse away any of your opponent's monsters essentially for free. And I believe they're similar to Kaiju, so unless it says when it just specifies when it leaves the field at all, the effect activates. With Fortress Dragon, I'm very certain it's like a Kaiju. Then the DPE package, obviously this is just standard DPE stuff. Dasher, Celestial, and then Fusion Destiny. Celestial draws cards. DPE in simplified game states can be extremely impactful. Then for the 2 fusions, 1 Power Bond and 1 Overload Fusion. Power Bond, honestly, if you don't want to play the Chimera package, you can cut this and the Chimera package and you can make room for hand traps. And Overload Fusion is really the only card that's actually necessary for it. explore this deck if you don't want to play that package. Next up, 3 Ash Blossom Joyous Spring. You can switch this out at any point in time. You can switch this for Nibiru's, you can switch this out for Ghost Spell, you can switch this out for Drolden Lockbird, you can switch anything. If it's format relevant, and permanence if you want to, a Veiler. If it's format relevant, you can swap Ash Blossom to that. In my opinion, I might actually swap Ash Blossom out soon. 1 Change of Heart because we're going second, and 1 Called by the Grave to stop hand traps or opponent's cards. Next, onto the extra deck, we're playing 1 Cyber End Dragon, 1 Cyber Twin Dragon, double Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon. Now, Twin Dragon, if you don't want to play it, you can cut it just fine, and Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon basically does what Twin Dragon does, but better, and is more accessible even too. But I'm just playing Twin Dragon because A, I have the Secret Aversion, and B, because I wanted to. But yeah, Rampage Dragon can send from deck to graveyard, pop spells and traps, and attack 3 times. Made with Power Bond, you're 100% gaming. 1 Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon. Play 2 if you have to. I currently don't have to, but play 2. With Clockwork Knight, this card is 10 times better. 1 Mega Fleet Dragon. You can get away with playing 1, to be honest. Like, 1 is just fine. Not a lot of decks actually summon to the EMZ. So being able to fuse with the EMZ zone just it's not as impactful anymore. Then obviously 1 DPE. Then 1 Garura. If you want to side deck Super Poly, you can, but if you want to cut this in order to make room for either another good rank 5 or even your second copy of Fortress Dragon, go right ahead. Like, Garura is obviously so much not optional, or it's optional if you're not main decking Super Poly. 1 copy of Nova, 1 copy of Infinity. Pretty necessary Sidra package ever since these 2 as a duo were released. So yeah. 1 copy of Constellar Pleiades. Just a nice generic rank 5 that bounces cards. And then 1 Zeus in case you really need to. 1 Almirage, 1 Cyber Dragon Seeker, and 1 Nightmare Phoenix just as utility removal. Almirage turns on Repair Plant. Seeger allows you to OTK easier, and Phoenix honestly is kind of the odd man out because he kind of makes Seeger worse because you can't make Seeger with Phoenix. So Phoenix is just spell trap removal if you don't have access to Rampage Dragon. But that was the Cyber Dragon deck profile. I hope you guys all enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in another video. Be good people.